Hi, I'm Emily Gould. I'm here with Jessie, Austrian, and we're going to talk about her role as Imogen in Cymbeline. Hi, Jessie.
Hi, Emily.
It's good to be here, and I had the awesome experience yesterday of coming to see a rehearsal of the show, so I got a chance to check out your process. Fiasco, it seems like you guys are really, really tight and really, your process is really collaborative, even though technically there are two directors. Mm-hmm. And you are the artistic director.
There are three artistic directors.
Oh, wow.
Ben, Noah, and myself are the co-artistic directors.
Gotcha.
I've taken to describing Fiasco as a three-headed, six-armed monster, because there are three of us who run the company, and then the six of us who are in Cymbeline are the acting ensemble.
Gotcha. So it's a hydra of acting.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And do you mind if I make you take a moment, maybe kind of a long moment, to just kind of ground us in the world of this play, which has a really complicated plot?
It does have a really complicated plot. Well, when we begin, we meet the world of this play, and it's fractured. There's the problem in Cymbeline's court is that succession is confused. He had two sons, they've been gone for 20 years, and so Imogen is next in line for the throne, which isn't how it was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And she secretly marries the man that she loves, and he's not of noble enough birth. Mm-hmm. And so he's banished. Things are going really wrong in the court. The king has remarried, and a sort of evil stepmother who wants to put her son on the throne and wants him to marry Imogen. Everything that seems like everything that's going wrong in the beginning, everything that's a problem and sort of a tragedy in each of the characters' mind, actually turns out to be necessary for the world to come back together. And the way we have kind of talked about it on a sort of dramaturgical level is that you never know where you are in your own story. That it's only later that you realize that the things you thought went wrong were actually necessary for the ultimate right.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
Yeah.
You used a really cool metaphor yesterday in rehearsal that I wondered if you would reiterate.
The tops?
Yeah, about the spinning, the dreidels.
The dreidels. Yeah, lately my visual metaphor for the show is that there's sort of our act one is that all these pieces of the plot and various characters are introducing these pieces of the plot. There's so many strains of the plot. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of each time a new piece of the plot, a new problem in the plot gets introduced, it's like a top is spinning. Mm-hmm. And then someone else spins this other one over here, and then we go to a completely different place. We go to Rome, and then a thing is spun over here. And there are sort of all these tops, dreidels spinning, and then Act Two is about them sort of nearly missing each other and ultimately finally colliding, which happens in our production with the war between England and Rome, is when everything kind of, all these strands come together and are finally sort of forced to enmesh and ultimately reconcile.
And considering how many strands there are, that actually happens really quickly.
Yeah. The idea of the trunk came from asking ourselves, what do we actually need to do this play? And the only thing that Shakespeare actually calls for, the only thing that we really need, is a trunk, because Giacomo has to pop out of it. And then we asked ourselves, what else could the trunk function as, and can we make it this sort of magical box in the same way that the play plays on themes of illusion and belief and seeing is believing or not, and the problems of that. Mm-hmm. So how can this one thing function as many different things? When Ben and Noah and I decided to do this play, we loved the play, and we loved the first three acts. And we had no idea what we were going to do at the end. Mm-hmm. It kind of feels like when you read the entire text, it's like, oh, it's a great Shakespearean play, Acts 1, 2, and 3, and part of 4, and then Act 5 is this. It's just so strange. It's
kind of like the hugging and learning moment at the end of an episode of Full House. It's like everything horrible just resolved instantaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably where Full House got the idea from.
Yeah, everything is derivative from Shakespeare.
Pretty much. So let's talk more about your character. You were very modest yesterday, and you were like, oh, I'm the only person who only plays one role. I really have it pretty easy. But reading the script, I don't actually think it's true that you have it easy.
Well, yes and no. I mean, Imogen is a great part, and she has a lot of wonderful language that I love. In our production, because there are only 6 of us, I feel like I actually kind of got off a little bit easy because I only have one track to think about. Paul Coffey, who plays 4 or 5 different characters, and he's actually in every scene of the play. But Imogen she's one of Shakespeare's great heroines. She's so smart and sort of fully realized. And
were there aspects of Imogen that were easier for you to get into and relate to just on a personal level, and were there some things about her that were kind of harder to grapple with to understand why she makes the choices she does?
The way I always think about it is, what can I, Jessie, understand about this moment? Not what is it like to be a princess in, ye olde days, because I can't answer that question. I'm never going to know the answer to that question.
And hypnotize yourself into some sort of trance.
Right, and it's never actually going to help or make the storytelling better. But what I can ask myself is, what is it like, or what would it be like to not be able to be with the person you just married, to have a father banish your loved one, and a family that's being pulled apart, is fractured? What would it be like to leave everything you know in pursuit of this and end up in the wilderness? So many of the characters make these rash decisions that end up sort of forcing the plot in one way or another. And because of and like I was saying before, some of the bad things that happen are actually necessary. Iachimo is a villain and does this villainous thing to Posthumus and Imogen, but it actually in the end turns out that it was needed it was the thing that got her, brought her out into the woods where she met her brothers, and it sort of sets everything in motion.
In rehearsal, I was really struck by how every single member of the company is so invested in really figuring out what every single line, every single word means, and helping each other. And it was amazing to watch that. So collaborative. Do y'all ever fight?
Oh yeah. But
you weren't being on your best behavior for me or anything?
No. Oh, we fight.
Okay.
What I think is actually kind of remarkable about how Fiasco works is that though we fight, it's always about the story. It's always in service of the story and trying to figure out what's going on. And sometimes we have different opinions about what that is, and we're all extremely passionate about this. So sometimes we butt heads about what it should be, but it's always about the third thing. It's never personal. So we can fight about what a moment is and totally disagree about it and hash it around and bounce it around, and then go to lunch and have a pleasant time and come back and then compliment each other on that thing, that other thing you did earlier that I loved, and then get back in there and fight some more and figure out what the moment is. I think because of the way Fiasco collaborates, that the production ends up being more than the sum of its parts. We choose to work this way because we honestly think that 3 minds are better than 1, 6 minds are better than 1, and there are strengths that Noah and Ben and Andy and Emily and Paul have that I don't have. And sort of, if it seems virtuosic, it's not because I can do 8 different things, you know what I mean? But it's because the 6 of us can do all these different things and, play various instruments and have different strengths that sort of meld together to create something that seems virtuosic.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Like a string quartet.
Yeah.
Or like a rock band.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you exclusively do Shakespeare, or?
Thus far.
Thus far.
We're not only going to do Shakespeare, and we're actually developing a play that Noah's writing, a historical drama, which we've been sort of developing over the past few years, and we'll continue to next year. So we're focusing on Shakespeare for a little while. We love it. And we love doing it in an ensemble fashion. But we kind of pride ourselves on the fact that we're clear storytellers and that we can make Shakespeare's language come to life in a beautiful human way. People who think they don't understand Shakespeare, I promise will understand our show.
That really came across in rehearsal. It was so different to hear you guys deliver those lines than to read them in the script. I can't wait to see it.
It's good.
I'm really excited.
We have so much fun doing it.
Well, thank you, Jessie. This was really fun.
Thank you. My pleasure.